it might just be the most important shipping lane on the entire planet. No exaggeration. It's a place with immense power, and its story is all about geography, energy, and, as you'll see, some serious vulnerability.
And that really brings us to the big question, right? The one we're going to unpack here. How on earth can a little 21-mile wide waterway basically control the world's economy? I mean, think about it. It affects global politics, huge markets, even what you pay for gas. It sounds kind of impossible. So let's dig in and figure it out. Okay, first things first, we need to get our heads around one key idea, a choke point. And honestly, it's pretty much what it sounds like. Imagine a giant funnel for global shipping, a narrow spot where everything has to get squeezed through. This makes it a super congested and, you guessed it, a very vulnerable spot. And the Strait of Hormuz? Well, it's the ultimate choke point.
All right, let's get into the numbers. And trust me, to really get why this place matters so much, you have to see the scale we're talking about. The figures are just wild.
21 million. Just let that sink in for a second. That's how many barrels of oil pass through the Strait of Hormuz every single day. It's a number that's almost too big to picture, but that right there, that's the lifeblood of the global economy, flowing through one tiny channel.
So that huge number is one thing, but here's where it gets really crazy. That 21 million barrels, that's not just some drop in the bucket. It's about a quarter of all the petroleum the entire world uses. Think about that. 1 out of every 4 barrels of oil consumed on the planet has to squeeze through this one little strait.
But hold on, the story doesn't stop with oil. As if that wasn't enough, there's another absolutely massive energy source that relies on the very same path. This just adds a whole new layer to how critical this spot is. And here it is, 20%. We're talking about 1/5 of the entire world's supply of liquefied natural gas, LNG. Most of it coming out of Qatar. So you see what's happening? It's a double whammy. It's a critical artery for both oil and natural gas.
So who are the major players here? Who's counting on this single passage to keep their economies running? Well, the list is basically a who's who of the world's biggest energy giants. I mean, look at this lineup. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Iraq, Iran. These are heavy hitters. And for them, the Strait of Hormuz isn't just, plan A. For most of them, it's the only plan. It's their one real sea route to the rest of the world. This quote really nails it. You know how the world has spare capacity? That's like the world's emergency oil supply, the stuff we can tap into quickly if there's a crisis. Well, here's the kicker. Almost all of that emergency supply is located inside the Persian Gulf, which means even our backup plan is stuck behind the same single exit door.
Okay, so you're probably thinking what I'm thinking. If this one spot is so risky, why not just go around it? Build a pipeline or something, right? Well, it's a great question, and people have tried. But it's a lot more complicated than it sounds.
And this right here shows you the problem in black and white. Yeah, there are a few bypass pipelines, but look at the capacity. They can handle maybe 5 million barrels a day, max. Compare that to the more than 15 million barrels that have to go by sea. There's just no contest. There is no other way out for the vast majority of it. And the geography itself is what makes it so darn vulnerable. The whole strait is only 21 miles across at its narrowest point. But get this, the actual lane that a giant supertanker can safely use, it's just 2 miles wide. 2 miles. There is zero room for error. None. Okay, so we've got the numbers, we know the players, we've seen the map. Now, let's talk about what happens when things go wrong. What happens when this choke point actually closes? We're going to look at a scenario from March 2026 to see exactly what that looks like. So, picture this. It's March 2026. Tensions in the region are boiling over. And then it happens. All commercial ships are ordered to stop. The traffic just stops. The world's most important energy artery is suddenly pinched shut. The effect was instant, and I mean dramatic. On a normal day, you've got more than 150 ships sailing through. During this crisis, that number dropped to less than 15. The entire flow of energy to the world basically ground to a halt. And of course, the markets freaked out. With everyone terrified this could go on for a while, the price of oil shot up, heading straight for $120 a barrel. And a price shock like that, you feel it everywhere in every part of the economy. So, faced with a potential global meltdown, what could be done? Well, the world had to hit the big red emergency button.
Leading countries started tapping into their last line of defense, their strategic oil reserves.
And the response had to be huge. I mean, unprecedented. The International Energy Agency coordinated a release of 400 million barrels of emergency oil. That's a record, all just to try and stop the panic and stabilize the markets. It took a massive, massive effort.
So here's the bottom line. We've seen just how incredibly fragile this one little spot on the map is. We've seen the kind of chaos that can unfold when it gets disrupted. It really leaves you with one big, kind of unsettling question, doesn't it? When the world's most critical artery is this vulnerable, is a global energy crisis not a matter of if, but when?